from Hollywood, California. Welcome to the 2025 6th Annual Chubby Awards, presented live from the Trevor and Dan Studios in West Hollywood, California.
Hello there.
We are very happy to be presenting selections of the best and brightest of the fat world of entertainment. Actors, performers, producers, writers, all the whole bunch will be honored today. I am very proud to be Don Marshall, big chubby guy living here in Hollywood. Happy to be presenting as one of the hosts of the 2025 6th Annual Chubby Awards.
Wow.
Time really flies, Don. You know, as I sit here, Dan Oliverio, author, public speaker, chubby chaser, in my living room, thinking about the chubbies, I'm just filled with an overwhelming sense of warmth.
That's probably your PJs.
Yeah.
I'm Trevor Keyson. I'm a super chub, and tonight I'm a superstar.
Yeah, you are.
I'm here waddling the red carpet, and oh, there goes Moodang.
Oh, that's Moodang. Sorry, honey. I thought that was...
Hi, and my name is Michael Willer. I'm a chubby chaser, and I am pleased as punch to be doing the Chubbies once again. This is our favorite time of year. This is the time of year we get to celebrate all of our favorite bits of media, pop culture, the things that represent fat the best.
This year, let's not forget the Chubby Awards are sponsored by Patreon. Patreon, bringing the Chubbies to listeners like you for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
Also sponsoring the Chubbies this year is Big Fig Mattress. Thank you, Big Fig Mattress, for allowing us a viewing platform to enjoy the Chubbies from.
If everyone will look under their chairs, you'll see Big Fig has provided every member of the audience
With the mattress?
Yes.
And you get a mattress, and you get a mattress, and you get a mattress.
Imagine they're just like shrink wrapped, and then they just all start expanding.
Well, that is how they're shipped, Michael.
Also worthy of call out this year, costuming all of our ceremony participants is Bearskin.
Yeah.
Bearskin has provided all of the underwear, which is exclusively being worn by our presenters this afternoon.
Yeah. In fact, in order to show off my bearskin underwear, that is all I'm wearing right now, and everyone can see the logo.
Yep. The bow tie I'm wearing is actually made from another bearskin underwear product. I'm very proud of how it came out. We want to do these in order to try and highlight good and positive and uplifting representations of fat people in media, because unfortunately that has often historically seemed to be a minority.
Yeah.
But not today. Today we have the good stuff. Presenting our first award today, allow me to introduce Mr. Michael Willer! Yay!
It me! Yay. Hooray! We are doing things a little differently this year. So what is the one thing that all of our previous Chubbies has been missing?
Context.
Trampolines.
Celebrity guest stars.
Actual awards? No, clips. That's how the
Yes.
Oscars work.
Oh.
You show all of the nominees. You get to let people know what was great about that movie or performance or whatever it was. And we have decided to incorporate that into our show this year. Now, we can't do every single nominee, but we will be doing clips from each of our picks for winners.
Yay.
And we're very excited for that. So without further ado, my first Chubby Award is going to the Mean Girls musical movie 2024. Quick little synopsis here. New student Katie Heron gets welcomed into the top of the social food chain by an elite group of popular girls called the Plastics, ruled by the conniving queen bee Regina George. However, when Katie makes the major misstep of falling for Regina's ex-boyfriend, she soon finds herself in their crosshairs. And my Chubby Award is going to Jaquel Spivey for playing Damien, the sort of effusive gay best friend. He is so engaging in this movie. So I saw it last year when it came out, and I'm already a big fan of the original Mean Girls movie written by Tina Fey way back in the day. It's got this cult following. They made it into a musical, and then they made the musical into a movie. And that character has really stood the test of time, I think. And the really cool thing is that I think he's been updated for this sort of version in this time period. And so our first clip is Jaquel talking about his role as Damien and kind of how it's been updated for current times.
Lovely.
I was sitting back like, ooh.
Nobody was talking about body positivity in 2004. Queerness wasn't as accepted in 2004. There's a difference in how he sachets down the hallway. There's a difference in how he communicates with the girls. He already had confidence, but I think there's a little extra boost in this Damien because there's nobody throwing a shoe while he's singing at the talent show. They're listening the whole time, you know?
So he clearly has his thumb on the pulse of what this character means to people, which is awesome because it comes through in his performances, which is our next sort of little highlight reel of some of the best of Damien from this movie.
Are you okay in there? We're concerned you're either doing drugs or having a toilet baby. Dear God, woman. Hetero allyship.
Do you have a pink shirt I can borrow?
Yes, what shade?
You have to pick a French name.
Chanel.
No.
Fontaine.
No.
Celine Dion.
No.
Beyonce. Like all history, this is emotionally layered and culturally dense. At that time, females expressed their identities through collectible plushies. 6 weeks and all we've done is make Regina hotter and revive the wet look.
Maybe we can have a commensal relationship.
What is that? I want one. Oh, no, she didn't. And I want my pink shirt.
Oh, well.
She don't even go here. How far would you go to be popular and hot? Would you resist temptation? No, you would not.
I said the only thing missing from that reel is more of his singing, which is, it's just so good. I think Jaquel did a phenomenal job. He's representing body positivity. He's representing fat and black and queer and gay and all of these things. And it's just so much fun to watch him in this movie.
Yeah,
Just
I can tell.
Very deserving.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Well, for our next award, I would think I want to call this one the Visibility Award this year. I'm sending this one out to Nicola Coughlan of Bridgerton,
Yay.
season 4.
Okay.
Of all of fat content this year, I don't think anything received near the attention that Bridgerton did.
Yeah.
Simply because she was in the lead role, right?
Yeah.
By her body being there and being shown off to be sexual and beautiful, it created a huge amount of attention. So Bridgerton follows the close-knit siblings of the noble and influential Bridgerton family as they navigate the highly competitive social season, where young marriageable nobility and gentry are introduced into society. The series is set during the early 1800s in an alternative London Regency era in which George III established racial equality and granted many people of African descent aristocratic titles due to the African heritage of his wife, Queen Charlotte.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It's so romantic this season. They've really upped their game. I love season 1 and 2, but when we got these scripts, it was like, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I'm very excited
So
to see it.
season 2 ups the sauciness. Season 3, which
I think we've won the sauciness.
Have the sauciness?
I think so. I think we might have.
So you've been having your fair share of steamy sex scenes in this one.
Yes.
How do you get around that? How do you navigate that?
It's really nerve-wracking, but thankfully I've known Luke for 4 years, and he's a super nice guy.
Does that make it easier, or does that make it
worse at the beginning and then better in reality? Because we could kind of have a laugh about it, and you know, it was quite liberating and quite fun to do. I wouldn't have thought that before. But an amazing intimacy coordinator, Lizzie Talbot, who was there, and she treats it like a stunt, and we had a lot to say in what we wanted to do as well.
The grace and poise with which she managed to navigate the press tour on this,
Yes.
where every single woman who has led a Bridgerton season has had as much or more sex scenes on the air, but they never had to talk about it as much as she did.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Every interview she had that I saw had to deal with her being nude on film. How'd that make you feel? What's it like being paraded around that way? And she managed to be an extremely eloquent ambassador for what it's like to live in a fat body in front of the world.
Yeah, because there's this global feeling like, well, fat people don't have sex, so what was it like for you?
Yep. What was it like actually existing in your body without clothing to shield you from the world? Like, none of the other leads have ever had to answer those questions.
And I feel like she does it in a way that's graceful. Like,
oh, incredibly.
She stands her ground, but she's generous. Exactly. She's not. It doesn't turn into this like fight with the interviewer.
Yep. It would be so hard for me not to be at least snide with some of my responses. It would be so hard. Yeah. And she pulls it off.
Awesome.
So congratulations, Nicola Coughlan.
Congratulations.
I think you knocked it out of the park.
I want to talk about a stage show called Sugar Daddy.
Yay.
Which is, it's an amazing piece. We saw it in Los Angeles, but it's been in New York, it's been in London. And it's Sam Morrison, who is a stand-up comedian, talking about his real life as he meets his late partner at a gay bear festival and finds hope and humor in the grief of his passing. The clip you're going to hear is kind of raunchy because it's at the beginning of the show and he's kind of getting people accustomed to what he's going to talk about. But as the title of the show is Sugar Daddy, the sugar daddy here actually refers to blood sugar. So this is Sam explaining to the audience his attraction to fat bears.
I am into gay bears. Do you guys know what bears are? Bigger guys. Another way to say it is I'm diabetic. My type is type 1, but my type is type 2. Does that make sense? Take your time.
It's a thinker.
It's tough. I just love a belly. I love a belly. Bellies are so sexy to me. And straight guys are creeped out by it. They're like, but what do you do with a belly? I don't know. What do you do with tits? Like, I have no, like, seriously, I think it's the same thing. You just kind of stare at them and go, nice. Also creepy, at least bellies don't have eyes, okay? There's a lot of contradictions here. Straight guys love big tits. What's a belly but the single biggest tit ever? You know, they're all, yo, dude, check out her double Ds. Check out his single Q. Like, I've just never seen a big dick and been like, if only it was 2 tiny dicks. I think belly is the new ass. I think in 10 years, the watermelon emoji is going to be huge.
What really gets me about this is it's this touching story of fat, thin love, which we almost never hear about. There are moments in the show where people are deeply moved to tears by how poignant this love story is because he ends up losing his partner. The other thing I love about it is that it's for us. It's pitched to a queer audience. And, you know, there are some explainers for the poor straight people who have to keep up. And that's just so lovely to see for a change that it's pitched to a queer audience and that he's unashamedly as you can hear, he is a very passionate chubby chaser, especially of bears. And it's so refreshing to see that in a stage show that is, you know, that went to the West End. I think I don't know if it was on Broadway or certainly off Broadway. And the visibility of that's just so important for chasers to man up and be out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if the kind of, you know, cliche chaser trope is sort of that they're hiding, they're passing, they're, you know, they're kind of not dealing with the shame and therefore they're not really out as a chaser. Like, to do this is just such a run in the opposite direction, and it's awesome. Like, it needs celebrating.
Exactly. And the other thing that chasers get hit with is that, it's just a fetish. And this is so not that. This is a love story that will make you cry.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know?
I cried.
Yeah.
Because we saw it at the Wallace in Beverly Hills, and something that this clip is missing that the stage version we had. So there was a giant belly on stage. This
a giant white plaster belly onto which they project locations, objects, but it is basically like a scrim behind him taking all the photos.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I admit when we walked in and I saw that, I was like, oh no, it was just
what is this? Yeah.
It was very ominous. But it was delightful. I loved how they incorporated the projections and really just how Sam interacted with the belly.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the other thing is it's so huge that it almost pushes him off the stage. He's got like 3 or 4 feet around it that he can maneuver, which for a stand-up comic does not need a lot of stage room. So it's okay. Like he can work on a postage stamp. But it was just funny to see him like he'd have to walk around it.
Or he's just kind of like
caress it.
Right, caress it, wrap himself around it.
Just eclipsed by this massive belly.
like, lie upon it,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My first chubby is going to Empire Waist.
Oh, yes.
We talked about Empire Waist on the show when the trailer dropped. I'm so excited to give it a chubby. Empire Waist is about Lenore, who is a plus-size teenager who gets forced into the spotlight when her classmate discovers her talent for fashion. However, her fears of her image-conscious mother and her own insecurities prevent her from wearing her own designs. This movie was directed by Claire Ayoub. It has a phenomenal cast.
It really does.
Mia Kaplan is Lenore. Mima Yivu as Kayla. previous Chubby winner, Jolene Purdy, as their teacher, Miss Hall.
From The Magicians, of course.
Of course.
Also, Rainn Wilson as her dad, Mark.
That's Rainn Wilson. I was like, who is that playing him? Oh my God. Yeah.
And Missy Pyle as Rachel, her kind of almond mom. And so I have 2 clips because there's so much in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was really kind of blown away by, I was first like, oh, this is like a fun body positive teen movie. And like, there's some powerhouse acting in this.
Yeah.
So the first clip is just to kind of get a feel of Lenore and Kayla. And this is after they have been assigned to be lab partners and strike up a friendship. Kayla has discovered Lenore's closet full of clothes, and Kayla is asking Lenore to make her a dress.
Lenore, can you make me a dress? Why? Why not? You have all these beautiful clothes just sitting in your closet. Why not make one for me?
I never made clothes for someone else before.
Lenore, please, please, please.
You know.
Do I have to get on my knees?
What? Oh my God.
Please, 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 please.
Fine. I will make you one dress.
I knew you'd say yes.
Would you have let me say no?
Absolutely not. But it's about making you feel like there's an option. So, I like the waist on this one and the train on this one. Seriously? You're right. A full train might be too much. And I want to look.
She's a massive vision board. She's
My
carrying
grandma is obsessed with old Hollywood films and crime dramas, and I want to look drop dead, but not dead.
This really couldn't wait.
Yeah,
And I don't want like sleeves, but I don't want it to be strapless, you know?
Okay, that sounds like off the shoulder with the sweetheart neckline.
Just when I thought you couldn't take up any more space, Kayla.
Is that a fat joke? Am I fat? Why didn't you tell me?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the dress she ends up
And
with
this
is
is her, the
fucking
reveal.
stunning. Yeah.
It's so good.
I love her dress.
No, you don't.
And like people are like crowding around taking pictures in awe.
Kayla looks good.
Ew. Kyle. You're disgusting. It's a miracle. Kayla finally found a store that stocks her size.
Actually, a friend made it for me. It's couture.
Your friend's a designer?
Lenore Miller. She's gonna be so big one day.
Lenore Miller gets any bigger, she won't fit through the doorway.
Make all the fat jokes you want about me, Sylvie, but leave Lenore alone.
That locker slam.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Yes.
I was waiting for someone to fucking put the mean girl in her place and not just kind of laugh off the hate.
Yeah.
And that was just like so satisfying.
Yes.
It's interesting because in the movie, all the clapbacks at the fat jokes, ultimately, there's never any savaging, like, how dare you bully? It's really more like getting the bully to realize how toxic they are and how toxic they are to themselves, which is a little after school special, but it works.
Yeah.
So I love the reveal of the amazing dress, that Kayla's thing of like, I can never find any clothes. And even before Lenore starts dining clothes for her, she has amazing clothes.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, you are always impeccably dressed. Why do you need Lenore again?
They do such a good job of making her look amazing and then even more amazing.
Yeah, it really is a question of even more.
The costumes. So Lenore's designs in the movie are designed by Ashley Nell Tipton, former Project Runway winner.
Fuck yes.
And she actually gets a little cameo later in the movie. So the next clip is Lenore, and Kayla has gotten Lenore to embrace her talent for fashion. They've made some friends. Lenore has designed a fashion line for a fashion competition. They had a photo shoot, and the mean girl gets a hold of the photos and kind of plasters the school with all these the pictures and kind of making fun of all of the models.
The pictures with insulting captions.
Yes.
Right.
And this is devastating for Lenore. So this next scene is her parents having a disagreement about how they should handle this bullying incident and if Lenore should go forward in the fashion competition.
Yeah.
Hey, babe, I'm home. Well, guess what? I still suck at bowling. But you know what they say? Split happens. Split happens. What's this?
Are you happy now?
Who did this?
Girls at school?
When she wins at the game of life.
I know about the competition.
Good. Wow, that's great. It was pretty cool, right? Huh?
No, it's not cool. She's not doing it.
What? You want her to quit because some teen psychopath with heinous layout skills says she should?
No, I don't want her to go out there and get her heart broken. No one is going to take her seriously.
I take her seriously.
You didn't see her today.
I see her every day. I see her struggling to make herself as small as physically possible so she doesn't take up space when she is just so amazing just the way she is.
You don't get it. It is different for girls. Lenore finally understands that. The competition is off the table. We will reapply again next year after she's taken better care of herself. We even signed up for a gym on the way home.
You really think that she loses weight and everything is just gonna be better?
Yes.
Rach? No. If she hates herself now, she's gonna hate herself forever. It doesn't matter how much she weighs.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. Look at you. Look at this. All you see when you look in this mirror is what you need to fix, and it breaks my heart. Why do you feel like you need to change? Listen, I love you, and I'll always be here for you. But I can't bear to see you treat our daughter the way you treat yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's an example of how do you put the bully in their place? You hold up a mirror.
Yeah. The incredible thing about that for me is that that's the parents. These are ostensibly like ancillary characters, but they have such an important moment in the movie, not just for the plot of the movie, but also for the audience.
Yeah. And I was so surprised to like see that moment because Rainn Wilson is very much like the quirky dad character. So getting to see him have that moment and getting like, I've seen a lot of Rainn Wilson, but this is like, I feel like the most I really get to see him act. I mean, Dan saw Rainn Wilson in Waiting for Godot.
I saw him in Waiting for Godot at the Geffen, and it was, of course, impeccable.
Wow.
I don't think people know this. I think he's a Juilliard trained actor.
Oh, yeah, he's a serious.
Yeah,
he's got serious
amazing.
chops.
He's amazing. Yeah.
I haven't seen him that much. I've only seen little bits of The Office, which is what he's most known for. But I have seen him do interviews where he's like, look, I'm more than my character on The Office. Like and so like this really lets him flex. I feel like you would expect maybe like less experienced comedic actors to kind of go a little too big or a little over the top, and it just really felt like such a restrained performance given the scene, which is a giant argument. Yeah.
The rest of the cast does get some amazing moments, but I didn't want to spoil those. But really just that seeing a dad champion his daughter to a very like almond mom where it's like there's this toxic dynamic between the mother and daughter. Yeah. It was just such a wonderful thing to see. And it's just really a beautiful, wholesome, amazing movie that everyone involved is just fantastic. It was a delight. There's a lot I want to say, but I really want people to see it and get to experience some really beautiful parts of the movie for themselves.
Yeah. Empire Waste, go see it.
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations. All right. My second chubby is going out to Dropout, which is a sort of boutique streaming service run by the production company of the same name, formerly College Humor, which anyone who's my age is probably familiar with. Its content is mainly composed of live plays such as Dimension 20, hosted by Brennan Lee Mulligan, and improv comedy and panel shows like Game Changer and Make Some Noise, both hosted by Dropout owner Sam Reich. So I love the streaming service because it has a lot of elements that I'm really attached to as far as the content, but also they've created a home for anyone in the LGBTQIA plus allyship. You know, it doesn't matter what color you are, what weight you are, what identity you are, like they embody that safe space as a company. And then they bring in like all of these talented cast members to do this variety of different shows. Most of it is unscripted. That's kind of their wheelhouse. And I wanted to highlight two performers, Jacob Wysocki and Lou Wilson. Both of them are fat. They're hilarious. They have so much range on the various like shows that they do. These clips are of them doing improv comedy prompts. So this is from Make Some Noise. It's really simple. They get a prompt and then either individually or as part of a group, they enact out the scenes. So the first one we have is a 3-person prompt. Jacob and Lou are both in it. And the improv game in this case is one of them will talk based on the prompt, and then Sam, the moderator, will pause them and switch to the next person who has to pick up where they left off. Exactly. And so it's sort of like 3 people playing the same character.
Let's start with Lou once more. That men don't get flowers.
Y'all know I'm upset. Y'all know I'm mad. I'm tired of watch it. I'm tired of tie clips.
Stop, Brennan.
I'm 36 years old. I promise you, I got the things I need for myself. What I don't have are perishable, consumable things that in their ephemeralness give beauty to my life. Would it kill you to get me a fucking bouquet? I just want to feel...
Jacob.
Something.
Anything, and I don't want it to be when I'm gone in a casket. I want to know it now, and I'm not playing games. I've been to
the mountaintop. I've been there. I see what they have, and what I want is something small.
Stop, Brennan.
As small as a daisy. As small as a peony. As small as...
Stop, Jacob.
my mental health.
And I will cut this up there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, they're so good together. All right, so next clip. This is Jacob Wysocki on his own, and as a little context, he grew up in Southern California, and the people he's about to imitate here, he grew up around these exact kind of people.
Jacob. Again, thanks for having me. A surfer using a bunch of surfing lingo recollects his gnarliest ride.
Honestly, it was the most harrowing day of my life. I got up, I smacked down 2 LBJ specialty bacon and cheese burritos, because you want to get those carbos in, all right? And then I was floating out to the gully. Everything was looking flat, smacked, and glossy. Then out of nowhere, a big set starts to ramp up. Then all of a sudden, a pod of porpoises, they come through and they're saying, "What's good, my dude?" And I'm like, absolutely nothing. I'm trying to crank, rustle, and trying to flip stacks. Then all of a sudden, this big bongo baby comes crashing in, and it's barreling, and it's crushing, and it's foaming, and I'm stuck in the beam. Then all of a sudden, the porpoises, they're like, "Come on!" They give me a little extra push through the tube. I'm out. I go back to the shore, finish my second bean and cheese from LBJ's, and I'm cruising life, feeling like a gremlin.
I understood none of that.
You aren't meant to.
Yeah.
It's all fake lingo. I love this because it encapsulates that experience of somebody talking so passionately about something you know nothing about.
Yeah, I can barely understand. Yeah.
So this last clip is Lou Wilson, and the prompt is, well, you'll see.
Your problematic grandpa comes full circle on a single specific issue.
You guys are going to non-alcoholic bars? I mean, back in the day, you go to a bar, you meet a girl, you take her home, you do a little something, you get a little married, and you have a beautiful life. I mean, what are you doing turning bars into places where people can commune and what, enjoy each other's company? Have a long chat? And not rely on the dark liquor to lubricate social interaction? You telling me you find out who your real friends are and who your fake friends are that you can only tolerate when you're drunk out of your mind? You just with your friends, like when you were young? Jason, can we go to one of these nights?
Oh, I love Grandpa.
Anyway, I could go on and on, but one thing I love about these performers and what they get to do on Dropout, so there's the improv comedy, which is very divisive. People have different reactions to, but they have such a range that they get to display, not just through the improv comedy, but through the other shows that they do. So Lou was on Dimension 20, which is a live play D&D show, and there was this sequence of scenes. And as a D&D player and as a dungeon master myself, this sequence is one of the most affecting moments I've ever experienced in this kind of show, and Lou was kind of at the center of it. And it's dramatic, it's heart-wrenching, it's funny, it's such an incredible ride to experience, and you get to see that through his performance. And Jacob, he
by the way, that was the thing where you're like, somebody is so passionate about something, I understood none of what you're saying.
Yeah,
I understand, and Mike has me very excited to check out.
It's the buildup is so worth it. And Jacob, one of the moments in Game Changer, which is their sort of game show, one of the prompts for the 3 contestants was say something vulnerable. And when it got to him, they censored what he said, and the caption was "too vulnerable for TV."
Oh wow!
And then afterwards, like all of the other contestants came over and like gave him a hug.
Oh wow!
And he was like choked up about it. And so that to me illustrates how much of a family these people are. And so as you get to know them as performers, you get this deeper experience with the shows that they're on. That they know each other. And then you get to know them as well, and you start to appreciate it on a deeper level, which is awesome.
That's great.
Anyway, so congratulations to Dropout, and to Lou, and to Jacob.
And Dropout is also where you can watch Chris Grace's Scarlett Johansson.
Absolutely.
He's been on a number of the shows you mentioned, and I think he is involved with some new project for them. So,
I didn't even know that, but I'll keep an eye out.
But subscribe to Dropout.
It's so worth it. It's like $5 a month too. It's not bad at all.
Well, I am bringing us back to one of my old favorites that I have given a Chubby to in the past, but this past season was its final season on HBO. I need to go back to Somebody Somewhere, season 3.
It's like you're magicians.
I know. This time I'm holding up Murray Hill, a trans actor who performs as Fred Rococo on the show. Quick summary for the show. Set in Manhattan, Kansas, the series follows Sam, played by Bridget Everett, as she returns to her hometown and navigates life after the death of her sister.
Okay.
Now, the clip I brought, I am holding up this show as it's basically part of the holy trinity of healing comedies. I hold it up there with Ted Lasso, with Shrinking. These are 3 shows that I would feel very safe describing as broken, depressed people coming together and fixing each other.
Oh, lovely.
And providing these most lovely, uplifting experiences. Now, Somebody Somewhere I think is special as a writer because it highlights experiences of fatness in ways that a fat people watching the show will see and get. And I genuinely don't think anyone else will even notice that it's happening.
I love that you set it up that way.
So in this scene, what we're seeing is 2 friends having brunch, running into a third friend who is cheating on their diet, right? But what is actually happening in the scene, the third friend that they're running into has recently gotten married to a woman who genuinely and deeply loves him and is doing everything she can to interfere with his eating for pleasure, which is messing up his relationships with his other friends because the way they bond is over these weekly brunches. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's literally starting to cause problems in their friendship. These 2 friends are having brunch together. They run into the third friend.
And the third friend is played by
Murray Hill, the Fred Rococo.
Okay.
Is the character.
Fred Rococo.
Not me.
Oh, you are so busted.
What? I'm just picking up a salad. No big deal.
Fred, have you been coming here this whole time?
No.
Well, your secret's safe with us. Why don't you just sit down and join us, huh?
Yeah.
Here? In front of this French toast? You're killing me.
It's a treat day. Just ignore it.
Okay, Fred, got your cheeseburger and fries.
Ooh, Fred.
What? Sometimes I want to be a bad boy.
So much of this show takes place under the radar, and you just see fluffy little moments that are fun and cute. But if you've lived them, right? So, for example, there's a sequence in this final season where she gets very attracted to this guy who's also another chubby guy who's renting her home, her family home, right? And there's like 3 episodes of her stopping by and just looking at him from like across the street and not talking to him, not bringing it up. And you're not sure what's happening unless you've been there, right? And so much of it is so true and so honest to a fat person's experience that I feel like I've very much failed the world because I haven't been able to get people to watch the damn show over the past few seasons. It is one of the best shows on television. And Fred Rococo is not the character I thought would become its heart. But in the final season, I feel like this is the character that so many people are looking to as the example of health, of how do I get there, right? Where you are just you and happy and bringing that happiness to people around you, right? So can't pitch it enough. I hold it up there with Ted Lasso and Shrinking, but this is the one that actually brought some visibility to fat issues.
Lovely.
So try it out.
Congratulations.
Huzzah.
Excellent.
So this, I think, is a controversial Chubby. Dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun.
I would agree.
I think it's controversial, but I stand by my choice, and here's why. So I would like to give a Chubby to the show Grotesquerie, which is another of Ryan Murphy's shows.
Okay.
If you've seen the show, you're being like, what the hell? So on its surface, the description of the show is that Detective Lois Tryon must work with Sister Megan, a local nun, to figure out the source of a series of heinous crimes that is affecting both their community and their personal lives. Okay, so you think it's a procedural with a nun called Grotesquerie, and what has this got to do with fat? So, dear listener, I am going to spoil the shit out of this for you.
Yeah.
Because the only way to explain why I'm giving this a Chubby is to tell you everything about the show.
So if you don't want it spoiled, skip forward about 5 minutes.
Yeah, or whatever the magic number is.
Future Michael here. It's a bit longer than 5 minutes, but if you skip to 44 minutes and 19 seconds, you should be safe from Grotesquerie spoilers.
But yeah, I'm going to spoil the shit out of this because it's going to give it away, which is why I want to give it a Chubby.
Okay.
The thing about the show is that Grotesquerie plays with perception versus reality. And we spend much of the season inside the main character's mind. That would be Lois, the detective. Now, her daughter is extremely fat, beautiful, and just a genius level intelligence. The character of the daughter is called Merritt, and it's played by Raven Goodwin. And as we come to see by the middle of the series, the character of Merritt exists in two different worlds. This is the spoiler. What we find out is actually, holy shit, there's two worlds being represented here, and one is the real world, and the other is the world inside the mother's mind, the detective's mind. So in her mother's world, Merritt, this is the fat daughter, is an unemployed fat glutton whose career goal is to gain even more weight so she will be fat enough to become a reality TV star on a fictitious show called Half Ton Trauma.
Okay. This is in her head.
Well, but we don't know that.
But you don't know. Okay. Okay.
Until you get really far into the series, you don't get there's another world. You don't get there's another reality.
Well, and so watching this, because Dan and I watched this together, because you're watching this and like, what the fuck is happening in this show? Because it rides the line. So when you start the show, you don't know we're in Lois's mind. We just think this is the world. And it's like not quite food addiction. It's not quite feedism. It's this weird
something in between.
Yeah. And she is a genius, but it's like, well, this is the hand I've been dealt. My only way to move forward in life is to get on this show.
Because I'm fat, and this is the opportunity fat people have been given.
Okay.
And so her career goes like, I'm going to get even fatter, and I'm going to win this shit. Right? Okay. So, however, in the real world, which we find out at the other end of the season, is that Merritt is a highly accomplished research physician with 2 PhDs who is literally curing cancer.
Oh.
And yes, she's very fat.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shift.
In the clip you're about to hear, the double PhD Merritt is having lunch with her father and her husband and is explaining to her father why her marriage is unsalvageable.
I grew up in the foster
He's
system
never
from...
going to get to the point. It's the Rolodex of excuses that's coming right now. You know, his trauma, his drinking, his shame. You know, the fact that he's a minimum wage earning alcoholic who works at Cinnabon in the mall, married to a woman who has 2 doctorate degrees, who's literally, shut the fuck up, who's literally curing cancer. You've asked me why I married him. You've asked me several times. And I'm ashamed to say it's because he can fuck me good. That's the goddamn truth.
It's okay. It's fair. I don't mean to make excuses. You can't imagine what it meant to me when I met Merritt and she introduced me to your family. Everyone made me feel so a part of everything. You have to know how grateful I am for that. How I'm still grateful. To you for being here.
Oh, I'm not here for you at all. You sick poor fuck.
Lois. It was something like I'd never experienced before in my life. A mother.
Dad. He has been fucking Mom for the last 2 years.
The whole scene, I'm just like, she's being really hard on him. What had happened? And then at the very end.
Yeah.
When I think that scene this is the first time we're seeing Merritt in the real world.
So why am I giving this an award, right? What this really captures in this show, that duality that many fat people live in. Like, no matter what you achieve, no matter how you may change the world, right? You are never going to be deemed a success because fat is the epitome of failure.
I'm a scratched record, but just pointing out, Santa Claus can't be a good example to children because he's fat.
Yeah, exactly. So what I love about this is the portrayal of a fat character as powerful in both halves of the season.
Yeah.
She's powerful both because she's fat, right? Her size is the vehicle to stardom in the first half of the season, and being smart and successful while also being fat, as she has 2 PhDs and curing cancer in the second half of the season. It's sort of like, because fat people tend to get cast in one side or the other. Like, don't look at my body. I'm really brilliant. Or she's only her body. And Raven Goodwin is fearless in portraying the character in these 2 realities. 2 realities, 2 circumstances, but the same characters. She is brilliantly smart as both and at both ends of this.
I mean, that's really what got me through the show. Like, I kept waiting for a payoff because I'm like, what the fuck is going on with the show? And I didn't really want to subject anyone to it without knowing what's happening. Because it's like, it really is the ultimate fat person horror once you realize what's happening. It's like the narrative about your body is being taken away from you. And, you know, the fact that when we're still in Lois in her coma world, Merritt solves the impossible like puzzle box from the kind of series of crimes that's happening in the coma world. Like, she's the one who's able to figure out the puzzle box, and she's like, oh, I did it, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was really easy.
Yeah, but that's as the glutton character.
Yeah, the shut in.
Yeah, she's sitting around the coffee table, half dressed, eating and eating and eating, and like, oh, I solved your puzzle.
Interesting. So she's still the genius.
Yeah, because it's the same character.
Yeah.
What's changing is the circumstance and perception.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's fascinating.
I wasn't planning on watching Grotesquerie, but now I think I will.
It's a mind fuck, and I'm sorry I gave it away, but I had to give it away.
Yeah. No. Well, and frankly, I don't think I would have
tried it without you giving it away.
Exactly.
I don't think either of you would get through it without, because it's a really long time until you find out actually the world is fucked up in an entirely different way. No, and Niecy Nash. I love her and everything. I feel like she's always a cop in some form, which I realized at like, and I'm like,
oh, a cop. I thought you said a top. I was like, wow. I mean, it's an accurate way to describe her, but still, you know.
The first season there is a cliffhanger, and I'm hoping there's a second season just because it was rough to get through, but once you get through it.
Remarkably, usually I'm the one who has a tough time getting through stuff. And I don't remember having a tough time.
It's the fact stuff aside, it's really bleak, and I like horror, and there's some stuff that's like, I'm like, this is really fucked up. Like, this is but phenomenal cast, phenomenal story, phenomenal inversion that was spoiled. Sorry, but
we had to. It's for your own good.
And now, for the listeners who skipped ahead, here's where you come back.
Well, this is it.
This is it. Our last chubby.
This is the big chubby. Everyone's on the edge of their seats.
The fattest chubby all night.
Flung off their seats because their mattresses exploded. So I am giving my last chubby to Adrienne in the Castle.
I love this. I didn't expect to love this. I loved it.
This is another thing we shared on the podcast. Adrienne in the Castle is a documentary about Alan St. George, who built a castle in rural Illinois to his late love. Facing life alone, he revisits their fantasy through musical reenactments, transporting him to the world they shared. This is a documentary by Shannon Walsh. So it's following Alan St. George and his late wife, Adrienne. But there's also these actors they hired for reenactments. And in the two clips, the Adrienne we're seeing is performer S. Lee. But actually, I think it is a different singer dubbed over their mannerisms and vocalization for the singing.
Okay.
And Fantasy Alan is played by Nathan McDonald. So the first clip is Alan talking about his marriage and wedding to Adrienne. So there's a lot of these fantasy sequences, and they're showing stuff they filmed and photos of Adrienne and Alan leading up to their marriage. And also some home movies.
From then on, I won her to my heart. Against all odds, we started to envision a life together. We were disowned by both our families, but love conquers all. We got married. I'm getting
Now
emotional.
you're crying.
So we'll take it for, but love conquers all, maybe.
Yeah.
But
What got
love,
you emotional there?
I was getting emotional there, yeah.
Why?
Well, it's an intense thing to be disowned by your families but you know, we got married anyway. That's what you have to do, and it worked out great. But it's just remembering, you know, all of that youth and struggle and, you know, uncertainty and I like the defiance of it too. That sort of gets me. We got married anyway. So
I love that. I haven't heard you talk much about this, so it's interesting to hear that.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a sip of water?
So right now they're going through the wedding photos. And actually one of the wedding photos is at the Baha'i Temple in Evanston, Illinois, which I passed by like almost every day growing up. So it was very
nostalgic.
Yeah, very nostalgic for me to see that. And just these beautiful photos of Adrienne in her wedding dress.
We were famished when we arrived at the hotel on our wedding night. I told Adrienne, be extravagant.
Hello, room service. Send up everything from pages 3 and 4.
There were so many dishes. We put them in dresser drawers. At 9 o'clock, we stepped onto the balcony. I said, the whole world is beneath you. We kissed, and a violent storm broke out.
So I mean, even just watching it again now, I'm getting weepy. I was sobbing throughout this documentary. The way they captured Adrienne and Alan's love story is just so beautiful. And I'm so curious about like the process they went through, because there's scenes where they're filming reenactments. They're recreating the scene of when Alan saw Adrienne in 1965. He was 13 years old. He's riding a bus, and they had Alan play the bus driver, and Nathan is portraying young Alan. Adrienne's fat, Alan's thin. It is very much Chub Chaser dynamic. They do not talk about that in the documentary, but the way they captured Alan seeing Adrienne for the first time, it is like every chaser I've talked to, like
every chaser
when they knew or when they, you know, saw their chub
that
boyfriend.
object of your affection and you were just gobsmacked.
And it is just the music and the visuals and weaving in. There's so many photos and home movies And the art, the house that Alan constructed for Adrian and continued to add to, the portraits of her, they have they're going through her closet where he's kept all of her gowns and caftans, and he said there's hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, it's because their life was making art about their life.
Yes. And she said, you have your art. She said, I am my art. It is Adrian from this documentary. It's like so many things that I feel like gay men aspire to, because it's like Miss Piggy meets Divine, meets Cass Elliot.
Yes. A little bit of Angeline in there too.
Yeah. And just like a goddess. So this next clip I'm sharing is one of the Adrian actors. I believe this is also Esley reading from a book Adrian published for their 9th anniversary. She wrote a book and they gave it to their friends and family.
So the scene that the documentary crew are filming is the actress portraying Adrian, reading from the book, and then capturing also some of the actress's reactions.
With all the humility one who has just written an autobiography can muster, I welcome you to these pages that are my life. I hope you'll find humor, romance, pathos, and drama within. The form is unusual, as all the personal pronouns that refer to me are capitalized, as well as those that speak of Alan and me after our marriage. I did this because I think it is wonderful. To celebrate our 9th wedding anniversary, we are giving these volumes to those we hold most dear, our friends. You do us a great honor by accepting my little tome. Some of it is very serious, but most of it is not. A very special person was written as a monologue or speech, if you will, and should be read that way, and should be read the way I talk. I had the most delightful time writing it. I hope you will enjoy reading it. On this, the occasion of our greatest celebration, we want you to know that to us, you too are a very special person. Adrian Blue Wakefield St. George. What gets you there? So much of my life I've been asked to make myself smaller and lesser and to fit the room that I'm in rather than to just fill the space that I'm in. And the first time that I met her through research, the first thing that I felt so drawn to was how unapologetically herself she is, and how I just every day am working to be more like that. And I just feel so thankful to have, even for a moment, been able to meet, the words are just coming to me to say meet her. And to trust those words that, like, you two are a very special person. It just feels like kind of what she needed to tell me. And even though, I mean, I know this is, you know, written and many people could read that, it's a good reminder for everybody to hear that. And
wow.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous. And the thing that got me in this movie is it is the most expensive, overproduced home movie ever. And why are you crying? You know, it's just this anomaly. And the filmmaker is so smart and I think risk-taking, because a lot of this, you would think like, oh, I can't possibly work. And like if somebody told you like, here's what I want you to do. I want everybody to wear masks and you're all going to wear gowns and we're going to do this choreographed sequence where you're imitating and like, that sounds terrible. And it works.
Well, that's what I was going to say, was like watching this, because I haven't seen the movie yet, and I'm locked into it now, having seen some of these clips. And as a filmmaker, when you stumble across a moment like that, it is vital that you capture it in a way that actually does the moment justice. You can't just, I mean, if you, all you have is just a camera running and it's handheld and you whip it around just to like that's one thing. But it's gorgeous the way that this is shot. They have one unedited, unbroken take, and whoever's operating the camera is doing a phenomenal job. And they already have the scene lit beautifully, and she's in her Adrian costume, and they have the book, and there's a mirror. Like, they've set the shot so perfectly that when the moment happens organically, it just works.
Well, and
it's
the
magic.
And the presence of mind to pan from one thing to the other in a like it's meaningful. You know, you could just pan, but like, wow, that just has such impact.
Yeah.
And the way that she's kind of like stroking the book.
Yes.
Like it's like she's trying to reach for Adrian's hands and then going to her. The next scene is her kind of going through one of the displays of Adrian's gowns, and she kind of like reaches for the mannequin's hand, kind of like what you sense she was trying to do with the book, like reaching out. It's just, I cried multiple times throughout it. I'm not a big crier. I cried during both movies, so maybe I am a crier now. Maybe that's my new era. When I was watching it, I was like, Dan was upstairs and like, well, you want to come watch this with me? And I'm so glad we did, because I see so much of us in the movie. I see so many so many other couples, like Chub Chaser couples I know, where there is just this, like Alan talks about, like kind of this, like, you know, you found each other, and how he talks about Adrian, it is just, you know, he found meaning through her, and after losing her, he continues the work with the house and hasn't really gone on, because it's like, it's kind of what he built, and he isn't ready to leave that. And he acknowledges he may never be ready to leave that.
Yeah.
And just the way they captured this story, so beautiful. Shannon Walsh did an amazing job. You can rent it on Vimeo. They said it was a limited window to rent it on Vimeo. It's still up, so maybe they don't know. I'll link to it. Hopefully it'll still be available to rent when this goes live and for some time afterwards. You can also watch it if you're in Canada through CBC Canada. If you want to do some VPN shenanigans, you can watch it that way until it has a permanent home for streaming in the US. We'll keep you posted on that. And maybe, I don't know, we'll try to get like a
little watch party.
Yeah. I would love to do that for some of the things we talked about. And I know that there is like technology for doing group watches in this, I don't know, era of the podcast. I really want to do more things where we can come together. So maybe we'll try to do some kind of watch parties for some of these things throughout the year, because I think we're going to need it.
I would love that, actually.
So congratulations to all of our winners of 2025.
Huzzah!
I think this was a very successful 6th annual Chubby Awards, and all of our winners can expect their awards to arrive in the mail.
They're chubby in the mail,
6 to 12 years. So yeah, no.
Yeah, just as soon as we get the budget.
Oh no, Moodang has the awards.
Do we have a tip for the day?
Go watch these movies and shows.
Watch all of these movies. Subscribe to Dropout. Watch everything.
Yeah, well worth it, everyone.
Well, we do have a bit for the day.
Do we?
Yay!
So the Chubby Awards are not the first major award to start in someone's living room.
The Oscars too?
Well, they were in Oscar's house.
That's where the name comes from.
In that little trash can.
While the Oscars remain probably the most famous movie award in the world, the Oscars share their movie night with the Golden Raspberry Awards.
Ah, yes.
Which are also awarded here in Hollywood to the most notoriously bad offerings in film and TV over the prior year. So today's offerings are all about the Raspberry Awards.
Otherwise known as the Razzies?
Also known as the Razzies.
Yeah.
Specifically, while many movies over the years have had the dubious honor of receiving Razzie Awards, only 2 movies in existence can make the claim that they are the movies that inspired the Golden Raspberry Awards.
Okay, fun. Okay.
So according to the 2 creators of the Raspberry Awards, John B. Wilson and Mo Murphy, what 2 movies inspired the award show for the worst movies in existence? 1, Xanadu and Can't Stop the Music.
Oh, boy.
That is the Village People musical.
Oh, yeah.
2, The Jazz Singer and the Blue Lagoon.
Ooh.
3, Heaven's Gate and Cruising. Or 4, Mommy Dearest and The Sting 2.
Oh, man, these are some good choices.
Wow.
I've only seen a handful of these movies, but I'm most familiar with Xanadu as an infamously bad movie that they thought was going to be this massive hit.
I don't know. I love Xanadu.
I do too. It's actually really fun. It's really fun, but at the time, not so
What was the
much.
pairing, Xanadu and what?
Xanadu and The Village People's Can't Stop the Music.
I'm going with that. Because Xanadu feels right, but I also have learned more about the second one recently.
Really?
And from what I know, I feel like it has to be those two.
That was also my guess.
I was going to guess that too.
All right, we have unanimous going for Xanadu and Can't Stop the Music, and the correct answer is, in fact, Xanadu and Can't Stop the Music. While both of these have massive cult followings, and some of us might even argue that they are in their own way good movies. Well, we would try. They're fun movies.
They're fun movies.
They did, in fact, inspire the Raspberry Awards. Okay.
Wow.
The Razzies are notorious for highlighting the worst pictures of each year, but let's be honest, bad is subjective. Which of the following movies did not win an Oscar and a Razzie in the same year? 1, Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Disney one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 2, Pearl Harbor, starring Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah.
3, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Uh-huh.
That's the one with Shia LaBeouf swinging from vines with monkeys.
Yes.
And the Crystal Skull.
Or 4, Suicide Squad. That's the one with
Will
Smith.
Will Smith is in it.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie is in it. That whole
Will Smith is in it?
Yeah, Will Smith is Deadshot.
Deadshot.
I think The Hunchback of Notre Dame
is the one that did not.
Did not.
I think that's my guess too.
Okay,
Because-
we got 2 for Disney's The Hunchback
You
of
got to
Notre
come
Dame.
with us, baby.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Take the leap.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going unanimous.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
All right. While everyone stands together and believes that it is Hunchback of Notre Dame, in fact, the one that did not win Oscar and Razzie in the same year is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Really?
While it did win the Razzie for Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel, it was not nominated in any category for the Academy Awards.
Okay.
I would have assumed, I was going to say maybe like,
I was like
for
sound
score,
design,
sound or something.
like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
That's
Something
kind of what I
similar.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the Razzie Award is not necessarily someone is like eager to have on display in their home. So a couple of actors that have won them might have been very happy when the Raspberry Academy took back the awards.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, I dimly remember this.
Which actor has not had a Raspberry Award taken back by the Raspberry Academy Award of Directors? 1, Shelley Duvall for The Shining.
Oh, no.
2, Bruce Willis for a category of worst Bruce Willis performance. 3,
What?
for worst actress for the movie Firestarter, Ryan Kira Armstrong.
Okay.
Or 4, worst actress for Catwoman, Halle Berry.
I think that Bruce Willis retained his Razzie.
Has retained his Razzie.
That's my guess.
We
I
got
feel
one for
like
Bruce
Shelley
Willis.
Duvall, just because like justice for Shelley Duvall, and I feel like that.
You think
I
they
think
gave her a
she-
Razzie and she they didn't take it back?
Right.
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, that's tragic. I think they did take it back. I think they took it back much, much later.
Right.
Though.
And Dan?
Yeah, I'm torn between those two. I'm going to go with Shelley Duvall.
Okay. All right. In fact, Shelley Duvall did have hers revoked.
Oh, thank God.
Because the Academy, the Raspberry voters decided when they found out about the way she was treated behind the scenes, they revoked the Raspberry.
Stanley Kubrick is dead and he can still go fuck himself.
Yeah. Bruce Willis, who won for worst Bruce Willis performance, had his Raspberry revoked because basically when it found out, he put out 4 movies in a year, all of which were incredibly bad. And then it came out afterwards that he was suffering from a debilitating cognitive decline.
Yeah.
So the raspberry, they took back the award because they found it inappropriate to give it to someone suffering from medical condition.
Yeah,
Ryan Kira Armstrong, who received Worst Actress for Firestarter, had hers taken back when they decided it was inappropriate to be giving raspberry awards to actors under the age of 18.
Thank you.
Yes. That's good. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Halle Berry does retain her raspberry for her performance.
Okay, that's fair.
I think she also agrees with it.
She probably does. Yeah.
Okay. You'd be amazed some of the quality actors that have received raspberry awards over the years. Which of the following has not won a raspberry award?
Okay.
1, Sir Laurence Olivier.
Oh my God.
2,
starting strong.
Marlon Brando.
Okay.
3, Meryl Streep.
Wow.
Or 4, Sylvester Stallone.
It's got to be Meryl Streep, right?
No, it's got to be Sylvester Stallone.
Has not won a Razzie.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you kidding? I mean, you've got to be kidding.
I kind of think that's why it's the right answer.
I cannot imagine.
I'm going to say Laurence Olivier.
That I could see because I don't know how much longer he was acting after they started these.
Yeah.
Laurence Olivier is a good guess. I feel like it's probably him because I think, Meryl Streep has so many legendary performances. She probably got one for Death Becomes Her. Just because it's such an over-the-top movie in general. So I'm going to go Laurence Olivier.
I also am going to remind people that Meryl Streep was in the movie She-Devil with
I like She-Devil.
Roseanne Barr.
To be clear, Death Becomes Her is amazing. I love that movie, but it's all camp. The whole movie is camp.
Okay, so what was your answer?
I'm going with Laurence Olivier.
Laurence Olivier. And Dan, what are you going with?
I think I have to stick with Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
Impeccable. Every movie, impeccable.
In fact, the one who has never received a Raspberry Award was, in fact, Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is the only one who has never been nominated. Sir Laurence Olivier won Worst Supporting Actor for 1981's The Jazz Singer.
Okay.
Marlon Brando won in 1981 and 1997 for The Formula and Island of Dr. Moreau.
He's so famous for being a great actor, but he has had some shitty performances.
Oh, there's a lot to say about Marlon Brando.
And Sylvester Stallone won in 1985 for Rhinestone as one of the first people to win the award.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's really a pioneer.
He is a pioneer. He is a pioneer.
He's also got some legendary.
So, dear listener, do you have some Chubby Awards that you think we missed out on? Or do you have a Raspberry Award that you think we should have delivered? Trevor, where can they tell us about that?
Well, we're on Instagram and Blue Sky as at Big Fat Gay Pod. We're on Facebook as the Big Fat Gay Podcast. Leave us 5 stars there. Leave us 5 stars and a review on your preferred podcast platform. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/BigFatGayPod. See the articles. Whatever. You know the drill.
Yeah, see the movies
we just talked about. See the movies we talked about at biggie.com, baby.
And maybe even some of the clips that we shared.
Well, the last Chubby, there's a secret one. I pull it out of my wig. And the final Chubby goes to you, listener. But Mooding, no!
You'll get a replacement in the mail.